everybody, to the 15th episode of an LPL English podcast. This one is not live because, my bad. I may have forgot that we had some time after play-ins to get things ready, and I was really excited about 4 best of 5s. So what I did was, I got 2 of our casters here, K-Man and Quacks, to join me, talk about play-ins, look a little bit at playoffs. But before we get into that, we were actually having a very awesome discussion about champions we're playing secretly, or maybe on our off time.
Okay. I would hand level the account. Drew can't come after me. We're fine.
True.
That's what they all say. But I guess we've been seeing a lot of funky stuff across the across the landscape, but we haven't really seen too much in LPL. Like the funkiest stuff we're getting is like JJ on Rek'Sai, or we're getting some we're getting solo lane funkiness. I guess Quacks, as our resident jungle player, can you talk to us a little bit about some of the stuff that we're seeing, I guess, that you're having fun with right now, or trying to see if you can have fun with? I
mean, so I advocated for this actually yesterday when I was recording another podcast. I am very surprised that we are not seeing Ivern. We have Marksman in top lane. We have Marksman coming in mid. Like, double Marksman comps are kind of everywhere right now, especially once you get really down the line. And I think now that we're in best of 5 territory, basically worldwide, the likelihood of running into a double Marksman comp, increases. Ivern is broken as hell. This champion clears instantly. Support items are strong as hell this year because of the enchanter additions and the reworks to those items. Ivern is amazing. He fits the bill. I think teams are just a little too scared of him. I don't understand why. He's not super flashy, sure, but he's gonna win you games, and I don't understand why people aren't going to him. Obviously, we're seeing an increase in Naz's jungle too, and we were talking about that primarily before we started hitting record. And I do think that this champion is really interesting at certain spots. Specifically, I think Naz's jungle is amazing against full dive comps, just because you click R. Wither is such a good disengage tool. I think it's also paired very nicely with Lucian Melio. The combination of Melio plus Naz's jungle is you're never getting a fight on your own terms. Breath of Life plus Wither can just, get you out of a fight whenever you feel like it. And then Shungle. I'll always advocate for Shungle. K-Man said the champ's broken. I agree.
It is. I mean, Shen is broken. Shen is broken top lane. Shen is broken jungle. Just play Shen. The champion's really good. I think those are good picks. The only thing that I will say that I get worried about from a competitive standpoint on a patch like this is if you're picking Ivern or even a Nasus, right, and you're going these more aggressive solo lanes as well, it takes away any opportunity for you to play a really aggressive 2v2 bot, in my opinion. And I just don't know if that's good for teams. If you're not going to draft Engage in the jungle, you have to play an Engage support. It just is, it's necessary for you to do. And that's kind of the sacrifice that you make when you go away from those Engage style junglers. So I think they're usable for sure. I just think that a lot of teams would prefer to play Karma and then just put the Engager in the jungle and go from there, rather than playing Ivern and feeling like you have to pick a Rel or an Alistar or a Leona or something like that. Okay, well,
Rel at least, or not Rel, but at least Ivern, he throws out the Q, and you can have Daisy be your the person who walks in front lines. Daisy, you can't do that on Nasus.
If you had if we had a tier list of what are they called? Just animal summoning, Annie summons Tibbers. Ivern summons Daisy is S tier. That woman will beat your ass. So she is the top. She's the Manny Pacquiao of the summoning champion guys. But another disadvantage of going Ivern, or just something that to think about, is he's awful at objectives by himself. A lot of people will go Xin Zhao so they can solo a dragon. Vi is, I think, probably the best case of this, where you just have W procs left, right, and center with the increased attack speed in the armor shred. It makes it super easy to solo out neutrals. Ivern sucks at soloing neutrals. Like, he does literally no damage to them. You basically need your team to have priority before you can even think about going there. Once you have a zone, you're very good at controlling it because you have bushes and you have Daisy and all of that stuff. But like, just getting an objective by yourself, like, you can't solo objectives. And like, that's something that I think is intrinsically valuable for junglers right now, is just being able to take like a 5-minute dragon and kind of run with it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think objective control is important. That's why, to me, like, when I think of champions that are underplayed, like, I hate to be that guy. I really do. I really don't want to be the person that advocates for this. But every time Maokai leaves the meta, I wonder why. Right? It's just like, why? Like, what? Like, are we bored? Do we just not want to play it? Because every time,
he is boring.
He is super boring. I'm not trying to say that he's not. But when you get to this kind of meta where you need reliable engage, you need objective control, and you need setup for a lot of these solo lanes that are going to be a little bit more aggressive, I'm just shocked that even with a nerfed Maokai, we're not seeing what I mean, I've said this before. I think Maokai is the best kit in the game. Like, just from a raw, pure ability perspective.
He is like the perfect competitive champion,
yes.
like all time.
Yeah, he does everything that you could ever want a jungler to do. And if he's even remotely playable, I just think there's a reason that Maokai play rate always goes up by roughly 20% every international tournament. I'll just leave it at that, because I just think that teams realize, like, why aren't we picking this guy?
We're going to be team fighting. His ultimate is literally the entire width of the river.
He needs like literally less than minimum wage to operate too.
Yes.
Yeah, and even if he's behind, his kit is mad OP. He throws out saplings, which they've had to nerf like repeatedly because they're like, okay, this is just way too broken. It does way too much damage. It stays on the map for forever. You're never like he has free ward coverage on the opposite side of the map that he's playing on if you're optimizing for simply just saplings. Maokai, I love him, every now and then. When we don't have him for a little bit, I'm like, okay, cool. How many people are actually like remember how to do like Bramble Smash combos properly? And he can also skirmish early depending on what the matchup is. So I agree. I'm always happy when Maokai leaves, and I'm always happy when he comes back. Just for a little bit though. And hopefully now with Fearless, he won't be a mainstay for 1 million years. But we can get into the actual meat and potatoes of this podcast, which is talking about LPL and LPL English stuff. So we had what I and many, I think, properly would consider probably the most exciting play-ins of all time, bar none, because this was the play-ins to watch. If there's ever a time for you guys to watch 18 games of League, right about now is time for you to do it.
I mean,
yeah.
what do you even say, right? Like, this is the craziest like 4-game best of 5 stretch I can remember in League of Legends. Like, not just in the LPL. Like can anyone remind me of a time where we essentially just got 4 massive upsets that completely dictate not only who's going to be making an international tournament this split, but who could potentially be set up to make Worlds, like down the line as well, with like how these groups have fallen. Super fun games. The fact that 3 of them went all 5 is just icing on the cake, right? It's not even just the upsets, it's that every series was fun. We almost had a reverse sweep from Weibo. Like, everything was according to plan here, and it just goes to show, like, the real difference in skill level between the bottom teams in Group Ascend and the top teams in Group Nirvana is basically 0.
Yeah, it didn't exist. I also think, K-Ban mentioning Worlds like this got me just really interested, and maybe the discussion is presumptuous, but off-season between like playoffs of Split 2 and then the beginning of Split 3 is gonna be a bloodbath. Like, you're probably gonna have a good majority of the known names here on the people that'll be, or on the teams of the players who will be in Group Nirvana for Split 3. Like, players on those teams are not gonna want to play Nirvana. They're gonna want to go to Ascend. So like, I imagine there will be like a mother load of like switches and trades and just like signings. It's gonna be
well, they would need
time.
the money. The first part is that like those teams in Group Ascend. So let's just like make the assumption that none of the top 4 teams are going to make roster changes, and then we'll move. Just look at strictly the bottom four.
Yeah.
Do they have the money to be able to? Because there's no way that the players might want to leave, but their contract says until the end of the year. And if I'm IG, if I'm Weibo, y'all are paying a pretty penny for any one of my big name players. Like, you are not getting Bree, you're not getting Wei, you're not getting Mako for free. You're not getting Xiaohu, who has been the cornerstone of this organization since its inception, essentially, for free. You're going to pay. And at least from what we've seen from roster building, the team that is most likely to even have that amount of money to splash out is an EDG. But they just signed Sinyan, and they just beat Xiaohu, or they just beat NIP, who is supposed to be the best of them. I don't think we're making very many changes. And if you're a top 4 team, who are we replacing? Like, who on these top 4? Like, I know the joke is like, hey, let's get 1xN on AL.
Yeah.
That's likely,
Or
but
Elk.
like, or Elk. Sure, yeah, you could get Elk. Yeah, I think that's
could get Elk.
completely fine. You could get Elk, yeah. But like, are those players going to be going over? Like, that's a very small amount of movement in my mind.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm with that. Like, I'm definitely with the idea of like they probably can't, right? I think obviously they would if they could. The buyouts are very real. I mean, you're going to be under contract. I just wonder what that means for the Nirvana team specifically, right? Because theoretically, their season isn't over. Like, yes, they're in Nirvana throughout Split 3, but the same thing happens here in Split 3, where you get a play-in stage, where you get a best of 5 to get yourself into playoffs, and then if you can get top 4 in playoffs, you can go to the regional qualifier. You can still make Worlds. None of these teams have been eliminated from the World Championships, even though
it's really tough, though.
It is really
tough. Their qualification points are, IG have 10 points. You get 0 points for making it, for going into for losing these best of 5s. So, like, IG, NIP, I'm gonna say LNG because they're there. All of these teams have 10 points or less, and that means that you're now tied with WE, TT, LNG or LGD, and Edward Gaming. Like,
the only thing I'll say to that, it's obviously bad. 6 teams get to make the regional qualifiers because 2 teams auto qualify, and that means that you just have to be better than 2 of the bottom teams in Ascent, right? Like, as long as you can win your play-in series, like it is likely that there are 2 teams in Group Nirvana that will be in the regional qualifiers. It's just who gets to keep their roster. Now, saying that, Mako didn't want to play for an IG team when they were in Ascend in Split 1. You think he wants to play in Split 3 when they're down in Nirvana? Like, I don't know, right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen to these rosters in terms of not only pillaging, but there are going to be players that just say, I'm good. Like,
yeah, no, like, fuck it. Like,
you know?
like, my thing was, like, I figured, like, maybe, you know, the return of the Shy has been, like, floated around here and there, but I feel like this brother is not coming back to IG if they are in Nirvana. Like, he is probably saying, fuck no. And top 4 teams, I think top lane is probably one of the most stable positions. Like, as far as consistency goes, I think that basically all of the top laners on JDG and AL and BLG and top esports have been, like, really good. So yeah, if brother wanted back in on an Ascend team that has, like, a good shot at making Worlds, he's not getting that.
Hey, top esports, you're saying, like, oh, like, they won't even replace the way on. 369 is still on vacation.
Exactly.
You're right.
Like, he's right there. Like, the Shy, you are at the highest. You are the 3rd best option, and I do not think that is good enough. Like,
from the language that I have seen around it, like, the Shy, I think coming back was always kind of like I'll come back if, like, the situation is, like, absolutely primo. But even, like, last year, it was a surprise to see Thashai in the league because he's done, essentially. He's like, I did what I wanted to. Like, I don't really find a lot of enjoyment from playing competitive league because I want to play, like, my style of top lane, and all of top lane right now.
Bro, range top is meta. Like, let's go.
I know.
But
he's like playing Valorant. He's playing, like, all these different games and streaming. He's good. And so it would literally have to be the stars aligning. And then I personally thought that the Shy thing completely went out the window as soon as Rookie's relationship drama came in, because if that didn't happen or wasn't amplified in the way it was, then this whole thing could, like, Rookie could have came back like midway through Split 2, and we would be, I don't know if we'd be talking about this team in the same way, but
Yeah.
I don't think that either of those players are coming back to this org, at least for the rest of 2026. We'll see if they can continue playing. But yeah, I was always hoping, but that brother's not coming back.
Yeah.
No. The Shy is not looking at Neon Renard and saying, I'll drop what is an incredibly successful streaming career to come back
Those are my
and
laners.
play with those guys. Group Nirvana is going to be fun. I wish it wasn't single round robin, which I believe it still is, unless I'm incorrect. Is it double round robin?
Last year was double round robin in Split 3. So
dude, if it's 4 teams,
it can't be single round robin.
That shit.
You never know.
What?
That's what they did to Nirvana in Split 1. Nirvana
team
in Split
is
1 was single
3-0.
round robin with 4
Yeah,
teams.
okay, but like one team is 3-0, 2 teams are what? 2-1, 1-2, and 0-3. Like that shit. No, hell no. Like
I'm just saying.
Wait, Split 1 was double round robin. So because LNG went 6-0.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. I am wrong, and I will admit my mistakes. I am apologizing live on pod.
It's okay. You were like, LNG did really good, and then what happened afterwards?
I don't remember.
let it
I don't
go.
remember anything else that happened.
I genuinely do wonder who's going to be bottom of Group Nirvana. Like, if the team that's bottom of Group Nirvana, there's like at least one big star on all of these teams. And if they go bottom of the barrel, like, oh my fucking god. I don't know what that's going to do to their stonks.
Bottom of Nirvana.
It won't happen. I firmly believe LNG is the only team that I think will not be bottom 1. I think they're guaranteed 3rd in this group, no matter what. I think there will be 2 teams that play fine, and then I think one of these rosters gets destroyed and gets 4th and randomly flames out or anything like that. I don't see it happening. Especially like
I could see IG
know,
flaming out. IG. Ooh, they really.
IG might be worse than LNG right now. Before anything happens.
I agree. Yeah. We can get into their series in a little bit, but I want to keep us moving on. We'll touch on each one of these teams as we go through their best of 5s. First up is going to be the play-ins Redux. Everybody doubted WE. Nobody thought that these guys could do it. But in 5 games, they said, we're the GOATs of this stage of playoffs, or whatever we're considering this. This is our stage.
Real quick.
What's
Why
up?
the fuck is Ashe Seraphine getting through in game 5? Like,
they haven't played it. Neither of these teams prioritize Ashe Seraphine.
But come on, like, it's Ashe Seraphine. This shit, like, you could have like quadruple amputees play this bot lane, and they would be able to win.
Jesus
like,
Christ, man.
This is the easiest duo to play I've ever seen in like the last 5 years of competitive play. I don't know why we're leaving it open. Like, I get that they don't prioritize it, but my god, like, that's ridiculous that we're letting that through, in my opinion. Like, in favor of a Malphite ban? Like, I don't.
I mean, it didn't even, like, I agree with you that Ashe Seraphine game 5 is kind of crazy. Poppy Smolder ran this game. Like, they just completely ran over, like, the middle of the map for LNG. This was an incredible series for Monkey, who really needed it. I said this, I believe, on my channel before the series started, but every time Monkey plays Kroko, it will be decided by which one of them ints harder. Like, there is absolutely no world in which one of those junglers is not the best player on the Rift and one of them's not the worst. It's just the way they play against each other. Monkey clearly was better here, and then, dude, I mean, Karis woke up. Karis was like, I don't care, I'm a Kali player. I'm picking Smolder, and I'm getting, I'm hitting my stacks at 20 minutes, and I'm doing 50,000 damage in the game. Cool.
I was casting this game with Gordo, and like the big thing coming into the series was that neither of these teams had played like a ton of Ashe and Seraphine. Like 1xN had not played any Ashe Seraphine all year long. He has not a single game on the champion. And for WE, like, they played it in Split 1, but they're just like, hey, our bot lane needs to have like, it's just not working. It's not a pair that we're like super into, and we'd rather play a style that is more focused around generating some kind of lead around bot lane And Ash Seraphine can be safe, it can win, but it's also, I think, a pretty volatile when you are a team that is behind like constantly. It doesn't have the highest damage. It's very protective, but if you're protecting 5 noobs, then the game is like, it's nothing. It's like playing Enchanter for a bronze 2 player and you're diamond. It's like, okay, well, I'm not winning this game. So I thought it was surprising to see it here in game 5 because it is, I think, the most emblematic of how these 2 bot lanes like to play. Like, do I trust 1xN and Missing to play a Jinx Lulu game? 9 times out of 10, yes. Like, I'm waiting for 1xN to pop off. But this whole game, that just never happened. We did not get to see. There was like very few times, and I think 1xN at a certain point was like 0, 1, and 3 at like 25 minutes. I was like, well, where's my Jinx?
I think the context that I want to add to the Ash Seraphine point very quickly as well. They, about played it once in split number 1. That was Arha's first game of Seraphine this year. So to me, like the change in the support position might have been the reason why they felt like maybe no Ash Seraphine, because Arha wasn't playing it on Weibo either. Like they were just not playing that duo. And so it just looks like it's maybe Arha that was uncomfortable in the Seraphine. LNG called the bluff and they got burned for it pretty hard.
Yeah. And listen, I know this might get a target on my back, but as the new guy here, I only joined the LPL English crew this year. I am really... I was told when I joined this to be like a part of the 1xN Believer fan club. And straight up, guys, this year, I'm not convinced. Like, maybe he popped off an insane amount last year, but like this year, yeah, I know. I signed my death warrant. Like, Initialize is like banging on my door right now. Slayer is like coming through. Like
True.
El Macho from Despicable me, like he's riding on a nuke with like sharks carrying the bomb. I haven't seen it. Like, and I feel like we just talked about like split 3 implications and maybe like some light predictions, and I don't think LNG are gonna be like a top team in Nirvana. So I feel like this is gonna even further prove my point. Really want to see him pop off because everyone is saying this guy's the GOAT, but I feel like this year it's been like very lackluster, has not lived up to my expectations. And this was a draft where he needed to do something crazy, and he didn't do it, like Ulk said.
Bro, his top side was, oh my god, Croco had the game of all time. Okay, so it's not just this game. We're talking about like only game 5, but like game 1, he gets like they just play like a really good lane playing Lucian Melio into Ezreal Nami, and then game 2 they're also winning, I think, on Yunara Nautilus versus Jhin Alistar. And then there's like multiple games in a row now where like 1xN is like trying all he can, but like either game 3 they end up winning that, but that was because of sheer Zahen absolutely smurfing multiple fights in a row, or we have Misfortune Karma where they are literally winning the first 5 minutes versus Caitlyn Lux. They get dove once and then the game's over on the spot. And to 1xN, he is like the most prototypical Elo held player of all time. Like, he spends 2 years on a do-nothing Thunder Talk roster that the entire time their solo lanes are just getting bashed, whether it's Setab or it's Yukao, whether, Hoya in the top lane. I'm sorry. I love Yukao.
No Thunder Talk Yukao slander. I'm not accepting that. That guy was also trying his absolute best.
There were a lot of games I did like where Yukao, I was really sad to see him go, but with him and Beitron, just didn't work. And then Feather, like, the duo was there. I was sad to see them broken up this year. He is merely Elo held. If we get him a better team, he might be good. I don't even want to say he will be good because I have not seen him like actually play consistently against these teams.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I do have to say, this game, like, think back to this was a point that Gordo and Ulk made on the cast for game number 5, but like Croco in their first best of 5 against WE, LNG versus WE from like split 1, dies trying to 1v1 him as Kha'Zix versus Akali near Dragon, and they throw the whole game there because Croco loses that. Game 5 here. Krako attempts to pick off Karis in the literal exact same spot, dies trying, and LNG lose. Like, Krako, like, anti-clutch in the exact same scenario for both games on the same guy in the same place.
Only thing I will say is, to defend Krako a little, at least he was really good in games 2 and 3, right? He was really important for why LNG was in this series. He just had a really bad end to the series. For me, like, I give out dud of the series for all of them that I cover. It was a really easy choice for me.
Bulldog, bro.
Bulldog was horrible. I mean, like truly horrible in this series. He was consistently getting run over in lane. He was down like 2,000 gold every game, even in their wins. The only game he wasn't down gold in was when he was on Twisted Fate, when it's completely free, right? Like, you can't be down
He's
gold.
He's 3-0 on
Fate.
Yone, by the way, this year.
Yep. He is.
Being up in gold on Twisted Fate does not count. That shit's fool's gold.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you are going to jail for fraud. That is not real money.
Yeah.
That's Monopoly money, bro.
And I know I'm a bit of like a Bulldog doubter. I've been a Bulldog doubter for a while, going back to his time before he came to the LPL. But like, to me, he is the biggest issue on this team. They are constantly losing pressure in the middle of the map. And Krako then goes for 50-50 crazy plays because he's begging his team to start to get anything that he can play through. And they don't work and they lose the game. And I don't know. To me, I just saw too many flaws in the mid lane here.
I don't know. I feel like from the games that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of LNG tape, like I caught up on it during our little like 5-day break, was like I felt like Krako and Bulldog were the reason that LNG would win a good amount of it. Like, their synergy to me was something that I really appreciated, but I just feel these two are anti-clutch. Like, when it comes down to it, like when it really matters, like Krako fucks up his execution on trying to pick off Karis. A Bulldog has an awful series. Sheer, honestly, like, has had good games, but I still hold it true that I feel like this guy's really just, like, good on a few champions, and, like, outside of that, I'm not a huge believer in a lot of his pool.
His Ambessa wasn't great, but my complaint going into the series and start of game 1 was, I don't know if it'll happen, but I want to see Sheer be present in this series, because there are many games where I watch him on like Gnar or I watch him on Rumble, and he kind of is just there. We even saw it in the Gnar game. He like TPs to a dragon and he's mini form, and I'm like, you get to do that because you're winning the game right now, but you don't get to do that if you're even, maybe, you know, circumstances change, you'll do something different in that sense. But like, the Zahen game was the one where I was like, okay, damn, like, he's actually putting in work. The Yorick game into Ornn, he's up like 60 CS. He presses tab. Cool, my bot lane's died 3 times, and my Tristana is getting sauced on by Karasari. Okay, well, the game's over. I had so much fun watching that game 4, the end call, where Gordo's like commentating this like massive team fight. They're in their base, like WE are inside LNG's base, and then the observers cut to that you just see Sheer sitting there with his maiden on the dragon. He literally channels the recall, and then he goes, I'm not getting back to base anyway, I'm finishing this dragon. And he's just like hitting the dragon, like, your base is dying, you're literally the last person alive. I just thought it was beautiful. But I don't like the solo lanes of this team. Bulldog, as we've said, and Sheer doesn't have enough presence in the game for me to warrant him like being on any all-pro ballot, which I saw our community all-pro ballot, and I was disappointed.
Me too. Yeah. Honestly, especially for the Nirvana one. They don't know ball on the real king of top lane in Nirvana for Split 2.
It was
We'll
Harry.
talk about him later. No.
Yeah.
It was Harry.
No.
Seeing if I could try to rage bait us.
It was
Our next
Sasa.
series on the same day, our second series of the first day, another. I think this was definitely the bigger upset, obviously, of the night.
I think this is
Invictus
the biggest
Gaming
upset of
getting
all of
3
them.
I would disagree personally, but
Okay, the result, maybe you disagree. The way in which it happened, though.
sure.
Add on to that context, and I think this makes it the biggest upset.
Okay, get in there.
Yeah. Hey, I have been going to bat for Haru for 5 months. And you know what? For 4 of those months, it's not looked very good. I gotta be honest. It's not paid a lot of dividends. But today, when it mattered the most, Haru stepped up and he dominated. He looked at 2 guys and Jan Renard on the other side, and he's like, wait, I've seen them before. I beat up on them all of last year. I can just do that again. What if I just did that again? And he locked in. Add on to the fact, and this is a take I had, again, before the series as well, I think Thunder Talk's bot lane is better than Invictus's bot lane. Like, I just think that they're the better duo.
Yeah, I agree
like,
with you.
I don't think this is as much of an upset as maybe some other people do, mostly because I just don't think IG is that good. Thunder Talk's not a team I rate particularly highly, but IG is closer to being where these Nirvana teams are, even just from an expectation perspective.
I agree, and poor fucking Wei. There were like multiple times where I felt like Wei was really trying, but Junhao also just had like a really amazing series. Wei was completely shut out of like exploding the game early, which is like the usual strategy that IG employ in all of their games, whether or not it amounts to a win or a loss. Like, Wei is always the guy on shit like the Jarvan and the Trundle and all of these like early game skirmishes to try and get the ball rolling ASAP, and he was just not able to do that.
They were playing for the Raptor camp in game 3, but the mid lane. So for anybody who like didn't watch the games, Nya played the first 2 games, and I was producing this series for Ilya, and all I saw as like on my left man, so Ilya has 4 monitors here. One of them has like a very small video player of the Huya feed that is just the Huya feed by itself to like see what's happening without having it up on the screen and having all of our random tech stuff. I just see in like the left side of my eye, like this small little lower third come up on the Huya, and I turn around and I just see that Renard's coming in for game 3. Immediately, me and the casters, it's a mix of like, holy crap, like Renard's coming back, like we're gonna see him for the first time in like 3 weeks, and oh my god, IG are gonna get 3-0'd. Like, oh no.
Dude, so. I mean, like, it's tough. Like, I think Renard, Nya, and Jachi really like, okay, those are Nirvana players, straight up. Like, I think that there is like a clear line between performance of this team. Like, I think that Wei and Mako do really good. Breathe is like somewhere in the middle, and then like in like the lowest tier, like the lowest depths, you've got like the mid laners and Jachi. And it just makes me kind of feel bad for Mako and Wei. Like, even though Wei had a bad series, I don't necessarily feel like it was for lack of trying. He just had duds for lanes. Like, he wasn't able to do shit. So, you know, in that way we relate, Wei. Like, I also have 3 losing lanes a lot of the time in solo queue, buddy.
Oh.
It's okay. If you ever need to talk, my DMs are open.
I just want to ask, like, whose idea was it to play Nya in the mid lane and then draft him Orianna Cassiopeia when this guy can only play assassins? Like, what's even the point? Like, why even have him in?
Look, the meta did change like partway through the split because of DFT coming in. I put 0 blame on the mid lane position in this team.
I agree.
It is super, like, you're an LDL player. The spots in which you're going to get chances to play in the LPL are very few. And with them going more into like an offline or like a non-broadcast league, essentially, the ability for teams to see your talent a little bit lower. And again, like Nya coming in halfway through the split, he could have ran this series down, and I still would be like, look, dude, you might not be on this team next split, but it's not like this is not your fault. There's many other problems in this game.
Breathe went like 0-8 on Varus top in game 3.
I know. Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like, it's certainly not just a mid lane. Like, mid lane was a problem. I've been pretty vocal about this. I'm much lower on what Mako has been this year than it seems like everybody else is. I think he's been mostly ineffective as a support. I don't think he's been outwardly bad, but I don't think he's really pushed a lot of games forward for IG. I think their bot lane has been very weak in the 2v2. How much of that you want to put on Jachi is up to you. You have a losing bot lane, a losing top side, and a jungler that, as much as I like Wei, when things get tough for Wei, his default is to get really passive, is to start scaling, is to really start to retreat and farm up. This is a nightmare spot for a rookie mid laner. Like, this is genuinely maybe the hardest position, like, in the league to be put into. And I agree. I just don't think you can put too much on these two guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also will say, like, Haru's Akali game in game 2 was fucking beautiful.
That was good.
Like, the three-man execute was, like, cinema. That shit was awesome. And, like, I feel like the big talking point for Thunder Talk going forward definitely is gonna have to be the top side. Like, I think that Junhao and Haru are kind of the stars for me, but then, like, you also, I feel, have to give a lot of credit over to Feather. This team is, in my opinion, like, you could really talk about any of these players. I am interested to see, though, going forward, how Keshi does. Like, not even talking about the future of playoffs, but just the fact that Thunder Talk winning this are now locked into Split 3. Like, you're going to be dealing with Bin. You're going to be dealing with Flandra. You're going to be dealing with a lot of fucking good top laners. And I feel like Keshi, say what you will about his performance in this series, but, like, I feel the word I would use to describe him over the course of the year has been inconsistent. So, like, for a rookie going up against players like this, I really am curious how it's going to shake out for him, because I think we kind of got a glimpse of that with Zoyan, right? Like, he comes in, rookie, stepping in for 369, and he did really good. So he
did really good when his jungler was in his lane. He did very good when Tien was sitting in his lane.
Not everyone can have Tien as a jungler, but, like, it restores a little bit of confidence in me to give Keshi something going into Split 3.
If you want to be excited about something for Keshi dumpstered Zoyan in the LDL last year. Like, completely dumpstered. It was really not close. So, like, if that's, you know, maybe the barometer that you want to take, that's great. Thunder Talk are a very fun team. They're really good early game, and if they can get through early game with leads, they're good, and if they don't, their macro's terrible. I mean, they're going to be fun to watch no matter what, and that can create some upsets.
I was kind of worried about the rookies on this team just because, like, confidence always plays, like, a key part of, like, whether or not they're going to be able to perform. And I think during Demacia Cup, we actually got to see Keshi really kind of, like, style a little bit in some of those matchups, which were fun. But, like, then he plays an entire season with Ryan, split with Ryan 3, and it's like, okay, well, every game is now going downhill.
Don't salute that guy. What are you doing?
Split 2, you know, they get on. Ryan. Things are still going well, but, like, maybe at first it's a little tentative. Like, okay, are we actually performing well because we have, like, a journeyman jungler and or a journeyman jungle and support, and then, like, a veteran and on? Like, is the games don't really revolve around top lane. Top lane is still an island, but I don't know. I think this was not only for the fact that they get to continue playing this split, but, like, having a best of 5 win against a team like this, I hope gives the newer players on this roster, like, some kind of breath of, like, okay, hey, we can somewhat hang with them. I'm not going to say that they're going to be incredibly competitive, but, you know, we'll talk about the playoff bracket later. And the same things that we had last year for all of our Nirvana teams joining Ascend and kind of getting spanked around like Thunder Talk did in Split 2 and Split 3. Just survive. It's a long regular season. It's all about notes. So just get through your double round robins and be ready to play your best of 5 versus the Nirvana team.
I don't think they're going to lose their jungler this year, luckily. So
that is true. Thunder Talk did get BLG'd halfway through Split 2. That is true. I do remember that. So, all right. Any closing words on IG versus Thunder Talk?
On is elite. On and Feather are, like, genuinely that duo. Like, it's not, like, Feather is great, and he was my all-pro support for Nirvana. On would have gotten it if I didn't just really think 1xN was that good. On, to me, is a borderline top 6 AD carry in the LPL right now. And I think a lot of people are not treating him like that. I think he really has been that good.
We'll see what he does against better opponents. We'll see. That's all I will say. I will just temper that, but I think that's valid for what we have seen so far.
Interesting take.
He's been good before too. Not last year,
That
but
is
before
true.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking about On's former teams, we have EDG and the Ninjas in Pajamas. I think out of all the best of fives, this one made me the most sad. Like,
This was a
it's
5-0.
leave.
This was a 5-0. This was a 5-0.
Like, not in terms of gameplay, but like narratively speaking.
Yeah.
And also just seeing Ninjas in Pajamas after the split they just had, and now it's like, okay, goodbye. Your split is capped off on like a spectacular failure, and that just makes me. It's the one that I was like, oh wow, they actually lost. Damn, that kind of sucks. Yeah.
Look, I'm carrying the flag. I don't want to be too harsh on it here. I am the flag bearer for not being as big of a fan of this format. And I think this is a great example of maybe why I'm maybe a little bit more harsh on the format. I just don't like that a team like NIP that was so consistent in the regular season. They were 500. They beat almost everybody. Yeah, they lost a couple of games that they weren't supposed to, but like they were better than every other team from Group Ascend in this play-in stage in terms of their production. They play one best of 5 on one day, and that's it. Like that's it. Your entire season is boiled down to this. And you talked about it before, Alk. Like this was the 5th seed coming out of Group Ascend. You're right there in like a world's chase potentially by the end of the year. That's nearly gone. Like in one day, you've gone from being the team that is maybe the closest to breaking through to the top 4 to just being gone because, you know, maybe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I just feel bad for NIP. I mean, this team has evolved and grown so much. EDG deserve this. I want to make that clear. They played great in this series, and like I'm not trying to downplay their accomplishment. I just feel so bad for a team that I think like probably shouldn't have been in the play-ins in the first place.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that like I made a tweet that has now aged like milk. I added Dia because we were like the guardians, the loving parents of NIP from split number 1. Like we covered a bunch of their games and we saw them like go from not even being able to contend with other Nirvana teams to then, you know, getting into Ascend. And then from there, like K-Man said, being consistent in Ascend, getting 5th place. And I was like, we're proud parents. Like, it's so cool to see this.
Yeah, and then you orphaned them
amazing.
so that K-Man could be a single provider in the household.
And then, now they're down here, shit age like milk. It is really a damn shame because I feel like the players individually have grown so much. Like I think that I totally agree with that with K-Man and that sentiment. Do have to give like a special shout out specifically to Hoya for this series. Like this guy,
he was on
saved
Hoya Legacy series.
Yeah,
dude, ZDZ is in a
like he saves game 2 with an amazing Gnar shove in mid, and then is the only guy that lives a giant team fight, then has an amazing TP flank play, saves the game again, then game number 3, even though they don't win, like he has like a really good Zahen team fight at like topside tier 3. They still lose the game, and then Hoya as the top laner steals Dragon, denies like any soul contention there for EDG, like stalls out the timer when they have Ornn on their team, by the way.
MVP for that game.
This is the best Ornn game I've watched all year long.
Right, like
full stop.
He did so fucking good this series, and the fact that he still lost is really depressing. Like, I feel super bad for him. I feel like really what it boiled down to was just EDG came so well prepared for shutting down Awesome and Zhuo. That is primarily how they've won a majority of their games. And like Leave and Zhui were on their ass for 5 games straight. Like it was a very one-sided matchup in the bot lane.
And let's be clear, like this is who Leave is, right? Like we can sit here and make fun of him all the time, and we deserve to all the time. He'll make the most boneheaded mistakes you've ever seen. He is maybe the most raw, mechanically talented AD carry in the region. Like, when this guy locks in and actually tries and doesn't start making mistakes and get, like actually is focused, he has beaten so many great AD carries throughout his entire career. I remember his first split when he joined EDG, when he was a rookie. Like, he was an all-pro caliber player, and obviously it's been a long, winding road since then. It's never been about the good games for Leave. They just rolled well today, right? Like, they rolled high on the performance that they got from their AD carry. EDG are the team that I feel, and we'll talk about this when we get to the playoffs, EDG, of the 4 teams that won in the play-ins, I think are the best, very clearly. I think that they have the most to do in Group Ascend, and I think Leave is a big part of that. I also think it's fair to say this series justifies the Jue pickup. If there was ever any sort of, personal bias,
I mean, Jue can play Bard, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Perukia just can't. So
yeah, Bard, Karma, Yumi. I mean, he's putting the enchanters in the bag, bro. Like, it's just the way it goes, right? Like, it helped him a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really sad because I'm going to have to watch ZDZ play. I feel like ZDZ in almost all of their series is like the Twisted Fate into Gnar game in regular season. I was like, this is the most useless I've ever seen of all time. And I'm a huge Leaf fan. I'm so excited to see him in Group Ascend because I just think for a competitive League of Legends, the 2 roles you cannot have like noobs in is mid and AD carry. You cannot have bad players or like sub top 5 players if you're going to be like a real team that is contending for like top level spots. And I think Leave this split, I don't want to say all year, but definitely this split has shown a lot of personal growth. Now, there are a lot less champions that have dashes. I know there's the Ezreal game there, and Leave sometimes will have a tendency of, I'm going to shift forward, you're just going to have to deal with it. But I think he's come a long way this year of like growing as a player.
Yeah, Leave was like on my Mount Rushmore of inters going into the LPL year. Like, I watched tape of this guy when we were just starting out the season, and I was floored with how insane this guy was at just constantly finding the most batshit ways to throw a game. It was truly generational. But I agree with everything that Alk just said. Like, I think that his journey of restraint this split has been like really nice to see, and he does have a ton of mechanical upside. Also want to give like a quick shout out to Sunyan. Like, when I saw that EDG were gonna be like subbing out Angel for another mid laner, I was like, oh shit, do we have another IG situation on our hands, like where we're just gonna be trying out another player or something like that? And it luckily was not that. Like, we did not have like a Renard Nia situation on our hands. I think that Sunyan, even though this is like his 2nd series we've seen from him. He played one best of 3 and he didn't even finish out the full best of 3.
He played the first 2 games.
2 games.
Mind you, that series, they weren't even locked for relegation, for non-relegation out of Nirvana at that point. If they lose that series, there's a chance that Ultra Prime end up like jumping up over them and doing tricks on Ascend teams in this best of 5. Like, I was like, holy crap, what is going? You don't know. What happens when Saber the GOAT comes through? I'm not saying OMG, Ultra Prime. That OMG boat sold last year for me. I do not trust this entire org now. And I think that point about Sunyan is great. He has some flaws. I think that's perfectly fine for an LDL player. I am glad that we are getting more flex, even if it's only Rumble mid. Thank you, Chovy, for showing that we're allowed to play different champions in the mid lane.
If he doesn't do it, you're not allowed to. It's just
I mean, look, he introduced the Rocket Belt tech, which has been hit or miss.
Rocket Belt is here, man.
Yep.
He told everybody to stop playing Azir. That champion's disappeared from the meta.
Right.
So Chovy this year is 2 for 3, I think.
This guy just is the law. Like, bro didn't even win first stand. Why are we not parroting what Knight says? I don't know.
Bro, Knight doesn't have time to talk. He's too busy getting 20 kills against everyone he plays against.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
He's playing Call of Duty, like Black Ops in League of Legends. He's just playing Team Deathmatch rather than League of Legends.
Do you need to play Black Ops to play Deathmatch? Well, that was a very specific call out.
I guess Black Ops is like my premier, like what I associate with Call of Duty.
Okay.
You know, Modern Warfare kids are just like weird. But
we are that
age. I mean,
What is
for
slander?
Sun Yan, like, the Annie game was something that really stood out to me. Even though he didn't have like a carry role on the team, he doesn't need to have a carry role on the team. So it's cool to see him just be like, all right, whatever the team needs, like I can provide that. And that's just cool from a player like him that we don't have a ton of information on. Like, as long as we know that this guy isn't going to actively sink your ship, then I'm glad that they're giving him some chances. So I'm interested to see, you know, kind of going into playoffs, what's gonna happen the further down the line of games they get. Like, is there a world where they sub in Angel, right? Because I was actually very surprised that going into Game 5, EDG did not sub in Angel. Like, this is fair. This is a very big deal, right? Like, if you win this, you go to Ascend and you go to playoffs. But if you lose, you're locked in for Nirvana. And I figured they were totally going to go with the mid laner they have way more synergy with. But the fact that they trusted Sun Yan enough to like play him in Game 5, I think speaks volumes.
I don't think we're seeing Angel play another game this year.
You don't
like
think
he
so?
was already a liability, and they need to build. Like, when I saw that they got rid of Perukia, I was like, okay, so who are we building this org around? Are we gonna do it around Leave and 4 old men, like 3 old men, and then like Jue? Like, I don't think that's like a real winning strategy. I think you need like fresh talent with some kind of like upper ceiling. Leave's ceiling can be really, really high, and I could have EDG go 0-6 in this playoff bracket and then go into Group Ascend, and I would be like, look, they're going to be a longer term project. They might not even do anything in Split 3, but I would be like, look, 2027 might actually, if they keep like a majority of this team, even 3/5 of this team, I'm kind of happy about where they're going for the next year and trying to build.
I think that they will be more competitive than people think in Split 3. I'm projecting this team to get 5th in Split 3. Like, I know it's early for Split 3 projections, but it's just it's where I think this team's naturally going to land, around 5th or 6th, somewhere in that zone. One thing that I do want to say, I know I'm the Xiaohao guy. Like, I know that that's kind of the thing that I do.
That brother was not trash,
hey,
but he's
not trash. He was fine. Here's the thing about Xiaohao. He has always been better in summer than he's been at the beginning of the year, in winter and in spring. Always. At no point, any year of his career, has he been worse in summer than he has been in any other split. This is a guy who does start to click and step up towards the back end of years, and I think he right now looks like a fine jungler to have. If he becomes, you know, even just a good jungler, and you have a bot lane that's really good, and, you know, maybe Sun Yan can, like, get over the hump. Like, maybe that happens. Maybe your mid lane's better than you expect. Like, this wouldn't be the first time Xiaohao has dragged ZDZ's, like, top lane corpse across the finish line into a top half finish. Like, this is the whole, like, ZDZ's whole career. So, like, it's, you know, I don't want to sit here and say that Xiaohao should be counted out, because if you're just going off of past performance, there's no reason to believe that we're not seeing the worst of him right now, and that he's going to be better next split than he is this split.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Xiaohao has only played with one other top laner, and it was for 2 months.
Oh,
Who was it?
Gosh, was it early, or was it? Like,
I'm considering only LPL in his
I'm just
career. He's
wondering
only
if it
played
was
with
before
one other top laner.
ZDZ. Like, because if it is, then I'm gonna struggle on who that was. Because he brought ZDZ with him to Weibo.
Yeah.
And then
What happened before?
Wait,
so he was on
Rare
AL,
Adam.
and then he played on Weibo, and then who's his top laner?
He was on Rare Adam. Who's the top laner on that team? Oh no. Golly, Vikla was in the mid lane, and Vikla Xiaohao was the mid jungle duo.
I'll give you the rest of the team: Vikla, Awesome, Jue.
God, what a team. I know that this is a player that I'm going to regret not knowing. I don't think Cube was long gone from the org at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I remember. I think I don't want to waste everyone's time.
It is Xiaoshu.
Oh
Rare
my
Adam
God.
Xiaoshu.
Rare Adam
And it was for
Xiaoshu.
2 months they went into spring. They went so ZDZ got so obviously Xiaohou goes over to Rare Atom after the Weibo experiment. He plays with Xiaoshu for lower placements. They go 3-3. They don't qualify, so they have to go to the now. It's called lower group because we didn't have Ascend and Nirvana like labeled. But he goes to Nirvana. They get 5-2 in that group. They get third place at 5-2, by the way, which is crazy to think. But Nirvana back then was like 8 teams, if I remember correctly. And then they go into summer playoffs. They get 3-0'd by NIP, and they're 11th through 13th. Yeah.
And that was a fun Rare Atom team too. Like not just for the game. Like Jway was awesome for them. He was really pun not intended.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's his 80 carry. So
my bad. And that got Vikla like a real job like outside of that. Like that brother was on his way to the McDonald's line if he did not step up that split, and he did, and he's still playing today.
Well,
rest in peace, Daystar. Rest in peace, Daystar.
Replaced by Daystar a little bit, but back.
Well, now that Diablo's not there, now that Diablo's not there, Daystar is back in the bin. But let's keep it moving. We got one last best of 5, and then we'll look at the playoffs. Weibo versus LGD. Okay, man, I think this is what you were looking for the biggest upset of the play-ins.
And I want to make it clear why I feel that way. It's not because I think LGD is like significantly worse or even worse at all compared to Thunder Talk. Weibo was so hot coming into this series. Like, I can't stress enough how good Weibo was at the end of the regular season. There was a real discussion that was being had that, oh, it's not a top 4, it's a top 5. Like, Weibo could be better than AL. Like, that was the conversation that was being had. Their last series was them destroying JD Gaming. Like, that's what Weibo did at the end of the regular season. Like, this was a team that was being looked at as a potential team that could go to MSI, and now they're in Group Nirvana. Like, that to me
I'm
is
so
why
glad
this
they're
is the
not at
biggest upset.
MSI. They can't hurt me.
Hey, you're right.
Can't hurt me.
You're right, but my point is that I think Weibo is, like, as much as I feel bad for NIP, I really do feel bad for NIP. They make all this progress, and now they're in Nirvana. Weibo being in Nirvana is absurd. Like, this team is so good, actually good, and for them to be in this spot, I think is unfortunate. They threw it away. It is their fault. Like, I'm not going to sit here and make that many excuses. It is a little unfortunate that I think a team that could have made some noise in the playoffs, not only is not in the playoffs because of one best of 5, but is now not in Group Ascend and likely is going to lose at least one of their players going into the next split.
You know,
goodbye the Hank.
I would say this is also the biggest upset, but at the same time, I know Weibo's fucking game. Like, this team, 2-0's top esports in the regular season. Of course they would lose to LGD. Of course. I literally had this in the back of my mind as it was happening. I'm still gonna, go on record and say I'm surprised by the result, but, like, of course. I feel like this team did have a hot streak, but they're Weibo. They just have this aura around them.
How did they lose? Bro, I don't get this series at all. They lose the first 2 games where LGD are playing like massive skirmish jungle style. Hung is like sitting on top of Jijis camps the entire time. How does Weibo win this game 4 draft, by the way? Like, this is the most illegal draft I've ever seen in my entire life. We are playing Jax, Rek'Sai, Twisted Fate, Ziggs, Camille versus Poppy, Lee Sin, Anivia, Caitlyn, Elise.
You can just dumb it down. You're playing, like, multiple mobile champions into Poppy and Anivia. Like, that is all, in my opinion, that you really need to say. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
My entire split on the line, give me the Hank Camille.
That's like insane to me. What?
Well, and like, they won too.
Look at this game 5 draft though. Like, this shit is insane. Like, we have Vayne versus Malphite mid, Silas in the jungle, Draven Thresh.
Xiaoya's Draven, baby.
Yeah, Xiaoya Draven was so much fun to watch. Like, Draven Kalista locked in. I knew this was gonna be cinema. Win or lose for either of these teams. Oh, this game 5 was going to deliver. This was, I think, maybe... This is subjective, but I think this was maybe the most entertaining series of the 4. Like, you can talk about the results, and you can talk about the upsets, and, like, the magnitude of how crazy of a result this is. But in terms of entertainment, like, this was my favorite. Like, this
was
shit
almost a reverse
so much
sweep.
fun to watch.
Like,
Yeah.
This is almost a reverse sweep. Like, these drafts are absolutely insane. Like, Hung is playing Trundle. He's getting engaged on by, like, all 5 members of Weibo and then living, and then all of the other members of LGD just dogpile onto them. They get the fight win. They get the Baron. Like, crazy series. Absolute cinema.
Yeah.
I also don't want to overstate, like, Game 5, they were even in gold until the final Dragon fight. Like, this wasn't a Game 5 stomp. The Draven got 3 kills pre-6 minutes, and then Weibo fought back by having better macro and completely outplaying them for about 10 minutes, and then threw it all away with one of the worst Dragon fights they've ever had, and now their split is over.
Yep.
I really want to believe in Xiaoya Draven because there was a lot of early games where I saw him. He was like, there's one game from last year where he's literally the only player with a gold lead on the team, and I'm like, bro, you have to carry this game. And then just like everyone dies around him, and he's like, well, I'm playing Draven, so the game's kind of over at this point. And I see Draven in this game, and I'm like, is this how Weibo's going to win? Is it going to be Xiaoya just saying, like, Game 5, give me my pocket pick? Tang Yuan's like, yeah, I'm going to play Vayne mid. This is what we're going to do. The way in which it happens, I'm like, there's no way this is how this series ends. And yeah, I'm like really impressed with, I think the jungles of all of the jungle play in these like 4 best of 5s were absolutely like pivotal to how these teams were going to win. Xiaohao's probably the weakest out of the bunch, but like still, like, this is probably one of the best series from Hung we've seen in a long time, especially against better competition and not just playing against other group Nirvana teams or Perseverance teams and the like. Also, first time for YCX making group ascend.
Yeah, he made
which
that
is like
post, which was like really, really cool.
Like,
just like talking
yeah,
about it.
mega long post on his Weibo. Just the amount of time that he has spent trying to make it into professional play. He's been playing in the LDL since 2020 summer. So to have his professional tier 1 debut be in 2025, 5 years later, some players that is like an amount of time in which they'll stay in the LDL and then stay on LGD and finally makes it to Ascend. Just insane. I think really kind of paid off for his dedication.
Yeah. And then, you know, like another thing for Hung, just real quick, like, Mark actually posted in our Discord, like, earlier today. He was like, I remember watching LGD tape, and I think the first series or game that I ever casted of Hung was him playing Maokai, messing up a level 2 dive, and then throwing the entire game, and he comes full
WE
circle.
Hung
was
a menace.
WE Hung.
And then he comes full circle, game 5.
It was OMG Hung. OMG Hung.
Yeah, like, give me the pick that I looked like shit on for like one of my first games in the LPL, and then he fucking does it. Like,
okay, well, it's not his first game in the LPL. Hung's been around for a little bit.
One of the first games.
It was
that was
one of
that
Mark's. Yeah. So let me paint the picture for you here. So there's a still image, but like he's playing Maokai for a Jin and a Rel. He has no twisted advance when he goes for this dive.
Level 2.
See, level QE?
Yes, he has Q and he has E. So when he goes for the dive onto Misfortune Rakan, he like walks up, tries to like Bramble Smash. He doesn't even flash, by the way. There's no like flash Bramble Smash. There's no like trying to like juke out and like do some funky stuff. No, he literally just walks up to them under turret, and they die, and they go 0 for 2 on the dive.
Yeah.
Elite.
Amazing.
Yeah, when Mark was casting that, he was...
Yeah,
he lost his mind.
I can only imagine what the comms are for his team. Like, imagine you're his teammate. Oh, where's your twisted advance? I didn't level it. What? Like something along those lines.
Starry was probably pretty happy about that play being made on his bottom side.
Yeah, that was
That is.
It was a mess.
But it's cool that he's able to play the Maokai and have like a good, like legitimately good game on it here in Game 5 to get his team, or help his team, I should say, back to get to Ascend.
I also want to point out as well, like this is Hung's, first time getting back into the upper echelon since his time on WE as I think actually a rookie. Was the last time he was top 8. But this is Tung Yuen's first time in a top group. Like that feels crazy to say. He has never made top group. He joined RNG during the start of the downfall. Like Xiaohu leaves, he's the replacement, and everything collapses around him. He's on that team in lower groups until the org goes, out, and then he joins LGD this year. This is his first ever time getting top 8 in the LPL. Like, this is a guy who's really been through the ringer. I mean, like he's been through a lot, and for him to get to Group Ascend, I think is really cool as well.
And not only that, just the tie-in of that, just first time playing a best of 5 versus Xiaohu. He wins.
Yeah.
He wins it in game 5 on this Vayne pick versus Xiaohu's Malphite, which, whatever. And then it's his first time also making top 8 in this. Just too many narratives in there. It's like it's straight up scripted at this point. So
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff from them. I am now worried. We'll take a look at our bracket as we kind of close out or get towards the end of our podcast here. If I can find the playoff bracket. There it is. I'm a noob. I may have forgotten that our audio is not linked on that one, and I don't have producer Kai, so I am gonna real quick. We're gonna jerry rig this. All of our stuff is back. Let's see. Okay, if I click out of this, legendary. You're just gonna have to accidentally see. Guys, just save me from this. Keep talking while I try to figure out this.
Yeah, you need me to vamp. I got you.
Yeah, vamp. Start vamping.
20-minute
Tung Yuen's first ever team in the LPL consisted, or at least like his first ever team as a full starter, because Angel was mostly the starter in spring, and then he took over at the end of spring and then played for most of summer. That starting lineup was Breathe and Wei on the top side, and then LP and Lumao as the bot lane.
Oh,
he's really been through
do not
the
remind
ringer.
me of that.
Yeah. And let's not forget that his bot lane, even in that first split, was Gala and Bunny before Ming came back. Shout out Bunny for all you guys playing Teammate Guesser. Bunny's won me multiple rounds of Teammate Guesser.
Dude, Teammate Guesser was like so popular for like a week and then it just died. Honestly, you know what killed it? I don't know how international our audience is, but like the EU, like having these insane polls of just players with like barcode names and players that don't even have like Leaguepedias, like, bro.
All right, I fixed it.
All right, we're back. Amazing vamp session there, K-Man.
Legendary vamp session. This is our playoff bracket. I gotta say, I think first round is going to be quite boring. I know it maybe looks a little silly after going 1-3 on predictions for the play-in series, but gentlemen, is there a single? I guess we could start from the top here of like JDG versus TT. What do we think about the matchup between these two?
So, I'll let K-Man go first, actually.
If you want the smallest bit of hype for Thunder Talk in this one, because look, JDG are really good, and it's a top 8 team in playoffs. You know they're going to play better than they did in the regular season.
Yes.
I think that there is a non-zero chance, and this is really like a shot call, that On is a better player than Gala. Like, I think it's actually just possible for that to be true. Now, is it possible for that to matter? I don't know. Right? Like, even if he is, like, in a theoretical world,
is Haru gonna be able to hold his own versus Hong
right.
Q?
Can Keshi survive against Xiaoshu? We're gonna have to watch Junja, who was my first team All-Pro jungler, go up against Junhao. Like, that's just, it's not a matchup. Like, everywhere else is tough, but I think if you want to be excited for Thunder Talk, like, I really do think that On and Feather have been great, and I don't think it's impossible for them to be able to get some leads on the bot side here.
No, I agree with that take. I think bot lane is probably where I'm looking at for Thunder Talk to maybe have an advantage over JDG, but the fact is, most of Thunder Talk's game plans in the past have revolved around their top side, right? They usually pick top side 1 through 3. Like, that is a very consistent pattern with just their drafts. And they usually give Keshi carries, they give Haru carries. Like, they let them play their comfort, and that is usually champions that can take the game by storm. And in that regard, I think JDG have them beat basically everywhere. Like, JDG's top side is simply better, simply outclasses them. I will say, one thing I'm going to be on the lookout for, and this is just with any top 8 team, is like, now that we're in best of 5s, like, I wonder what JDG are going to be pulling out once series potentially go past 3 games. We've seen a lot of really fun experimentation, particularly from Xiaoshu this split, right? Like, we've seen Tryndamere, we've seen Fury, we've seen like a few pocket picks come through, and Xiaoshu's done really good on all of them. So I'm interested if how Keshi is going to react to that, if he has to play against any of these like fun little Tabe curveballs that he probably is not used to playing against at all. So, I mean, I really want to believe in Thunder Talk to at least take a game. Like, something in my heart is my heart is conflicting with my mind. Like, my heart is saying they'll take a game and we'll have like a fun series, but my brain is telling me this will probably be a 3-0. I'm choosing to believe my heart, though.
Okay.
So,
All right. That's fair. All of these best of 5s, the longer they go, the more worried I am for the Nirvana teams.
correct.
Just
Yeah.
champion pool, diversity of strategy. Generally, the teams that are in the top 4 have more experienced players, and so you kind of get that like fatigue that starts to happen. We start to see more mistakes from some of the newer players, and things start to break down. I'm hoping that scrims and everything in the practice that goes into these best of 5s is getting them like mentally prepared. Also, a big, maybe not a big piece, but something that is worthy of note. All of our play-ins were remote.
Yes.
There was
surprised
no
they
Very
didn't talk
important.
about that, actually. I forgot about
there
that.
was no on-stage presence. I guess I can reveal it mostly because it is like tangentially related. Weibo were still playing in the EWC qualifiers, and so because of that, they wouldn't have had time to make it to the arena and do all their proper prep. So instead of making Weibo and LGD have to play like a weird series, they decided to like equally give
everyone.
it to all of the teams, which I think is fair to all of the teams, but also puts them at a disadvantage because there is no stage time. There is no ability for fans to go and meet these teams. Like, imagine, like, I say imagine, but I'm also thinking of like a lot of these series may be like emptier because we have like maybe LNGWE has a couple of fans that come out and they get to really cheer their team on for winning that series. Thunder Talk versus IG, I imagine there's going to be a lot of IG fans that are going to be in that arena, and they're going to be dip setting real quick. EDG NIP, maybe there could have been like
famous.
another thing. The Weibo
EDG is
one,
mega popular.
like all the Weibo fans were already out of the building after game 2, so it's still robbing that of the fans. And then now it's like, okay, all of your Nirvana teams plus WE, it's time to get on stage again. It's time for you guys to play with the bright lights on.
And I genuinely wonder if that actually impacted play-ins. Like, this was a subject that I am kind of sad we didn't get to talk about when we were on the subject of, like, these qualification matches. But, like, if they were in front of an audience, like, would that have changed the outcome of who won? Because, like, obviously the teams that lost generally have more stage experience and just generally have more experience being a pro player in general. So I think that'll play a major factor, though. Like, especially.
I guess
for
we'll never
Thundertalk.
know.
Yeah.
Never know,
Mic
but, like,
drop.
I think that'll play a factor specifically for Thunder Talk. Like, I can see it hurting them more than the other Nirvana teams that made it up, just because they've got 2 rookies, right? Like,
The only thing I'll say about what ifs in League of Legends, just in general, is just that, like, sometimes I think we forget that League is very different than, like, a lot of other competitions, even other esports, in terms of being compared to. League is one of those games where, like, if you took, like, an LDL team and put them up against BLG, but you gave them, like, a 5k gold lead, they'd probably win most of the time. Like, League is a game where when you get in a hole, like, most people at this level are good enough to win it. And so the most minute of details can really shift whether teams win or lose. Like, it really is a knife's edge that these teams play on. It's why we see so many upsets so regularly everywhere across the world. So what ifs are just kind of tough for me in League, because I feel like every game is in itself like a what if in a certain way. And
Sure.
I'm happy for the teams that made it through. They had everyone had the same circumstances, and these were the teams that stepped up.
Okay, getting through this quickly then. Top esports LGD. Just give me a series prediction, and then we can move a little bit deeper in. K-Man, what are you thinking for top esports LGD?
It's ES 3-0. If it's not, they've screwed up completely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a nightmare matchup for LGD. Like, I don't really know what to tell you. Even if you feel good about LGD, like, you're gonna have to take your bot laner that really wants a lot of pressure and tempo in the early game, who wants to be able to play more aggro and skirmish around a lot of objectives, and put him into Jackie Love and Feng Yue, who I think are the best pure 2v2 bot lane in the LPL right now. It's a nightmare matchup for that. Hung is super good at these crazy aggressive skirmish-oriented styles. He wants to sit on the enemy jungler. He wants to counter-invade. Tien is going to slam him if they just play skirmishers. Like, if it's Xin Zhao versus Vi, like, Tien is winning that every time. And, you know...
You win both sides of the matchup.
Yes, both sides of it. I do not care. Like, he's going to win that. The one part I'm most interested in is Zweon has never played a Tier 1 best of 5 at any point in his career. And Bertle is really experienced. Like, that could be some sort of avenue. Outside of that, though, I mean, this is a nightmare draw for LGD.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think it's going to be a 3-0. I will say, I just think that from what we saw from LGD with their series against Weibo, like, I think that their best traits and, like, the things that they relied on to get them through that best of 5, like, they're all outclassed by what TES have. Like, I think that K-Man made a really good point about, like, jungle. Like, Hong had some really fun skirmishing jungle picks in, like, the first 2 games of that series. And Tien is not losing when it comes to, like, skirmishing in the jungle. Like, that guy is a fighter through and through. And, you know, Lee Sin is coming back into the meta as well. We've been seeing a lot more Lee Sin these past few weeks, so that's Tien's champ. I do not think that there is really a way where LGD can take a game here. I'm a little bit hopeful for maybe the other series, but, like, in this one, I think it's probably going to be the most one-sided.
I do think BLGWE is going to be the most one-sided. That one,
I might agree with you there.
We've seen that matchup in best of 3s a couple of times. I'm not hopeful that they're going to be winning any games.
They'll both be 3-0, so then we just have to measure by, like, what, game time?
Game time, general, like, game differential at certain points.
Sure.
So ALEDG, is there anybody that, like, thinks that this is maybe the closest one, but I don't know. I think this is the series that everyone's going to be like, oh, maybe EDG could do something, and then Tarzan's going to have, like, a 3-0 MVP series and win the game.
I think EDG can 3-2 this. That's going to be my prediction. I think EDG can do it. I do think AL, unless Tarzan wakes up and has, like, the best breakfast of his entire life and is just, like, in an amazing mood that day, I think that EDG have a legitimate shot at doing this. If ZDZ just can, you know, not for a series, then I think we're chilling. Like, I actually think this can be a pretty competitive best of 5. I
agree. The bot lane, okay, Leave is better than Hope. Can I say that?
Let's start there. Let's just start there.
That is where we can
I thought
start
we all
with
just
this.
agreed on that one.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
I thought that was a given.
I don't think Joy is better than Kyle, but I think it's very fair to say that the bot lane could be better because EDG are just going to play for bot more than AL are. I can't imagine a world where jungle mid loses for AL in this series. I like Shanks versus Sunyan, like no way, man. Like it's just I just don't see a world where that survives for EDG, where that even is playable. I also think topside's bad. Tarzan's always been clutch in the LPL, despite what some people would like to tell you. This guy is a huge playoff performer, And I think he's going to be fine in this matchup against Xiao Hao. What really gets Tarzan off of his own A game is really being forced to be more of a lane-oriented player. Xiao Hao is not going to pressure Tarzan out in the same way that you need to consistently beat Tarzan for me. I think matchup-wise, I prefer AL. Also, fun little side note, all of the top side for EDG have been in the AL system at some point, some pretty prominently, obviously. Like, new EDG mid came from AL Young, and then obviously ZDZ and Xiao Hao were longtime AL players early in their careers. So, kind of fun. Little fun matchup there.
I actually didn't know that. That is kind of cool.
Yeah. BLG 3-0, and then we move on to this. Is there any early predictions people want to make on the podcast about the bracket? This could just be like, you know, we are sending 2 representatives to MSI, which we don't have to play in the most cursed MSI play-ins of all time, by the way. For anybody who doesn't know, because we won first stand, our first 2 teams get to just go straight into the MSI bracket. LCK second seed, LCS, LEC, LCP, and CBLOL second seeds all have to play for the last spot in MSI.
That's so dumb.
Can't wait to see Gen G, who's going to finish 3rd in the regular season and make their way as the second seed to the LCK. Wow.
Just give me
Not
KT
looking
and
good.
Hanwha, bro. Okay, so first of all, are we all in agreement that BLG are going to make it? Like, they should be the projected favorites.
Yeah, they should win. If BLG don't win, I think it's BLG and then the rest of the field is, I think, the...
If BLG drop a playoff series, I would consider that an upset. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible. I would just say that would be surprising.
I mean, their road is what? Like, BLG, probably 3-0 WE, and then they play...
And they play AL.
Then they
and
probably
3-1
play
them.
AL. They
Quax's
probably
eyes.
3-0 AL.
Oh, I thought, but what happened to EDG? I thought
Yeah,
you were
where's my
predicting-
3-2? Where's my 3-2
I'm
believer?
saying I'm saying what is most like statistically likely in my opinion. Like if you gathered 100 people in a room and you told them to give a favorite, most of them would probably say AL. I'm not one of those people. I mean, BLG might run into maybe like a game loss at round 4. But like before
in the upper
then, they
finals,
shouldn't lose a game. Like finals, until then they shouldn't lose a game, and even then, this team just feels so hard to even like get an edge on this team at any point. I would say the team that I would root for to get second is probably JDG. Like I think JDG are going to MSI. Like I think that their last few weeks have actually looked quite convincing. But it could be top. Like, I think those are the top 3. I'm assuming I'm joined by you guys in thinking that it's just going to be a roulette between TES and JDG, right?
I think AL's better than TES. I think that they have more going for them from a playoff perspective, in my opinion. I think that TES plays a very specific style of game, and I think when they can't play that style, they pretty much instantly lose. And I think Fearless best of 5s are not going to do them super well against like really good teams. I agree that JDG is definitely the favorite to be that second team going, if only just because, and I know that Alk disagrees on this, so maybe we can have a discussion about it. Like, I think jungle mid is so important in this meta, and I just think JDG's jungle mid is easily the second best in the LPL behind BLG's. That, like, to me, that sets them apart, despite the fact that I think their bot lane is a weakness. The only thing that's keeping AL out from being a top 2 team is Hope being like a capable AD carry player. If he can figure it out and just be average,
he needs
like,
to be
I
an
actually think this
elite
team is
level
good
AD
enough.
carry. He is not an elite level AD carry player.
He needs to be as good as Gala is for JDG, which is doable.
But
I
Gala's
think.
bad. I mean, Gala was
No, but that's what I'm saying.
terrible the last
He just like Tarzan can be better than Junja, right? Like Shanks can be better than Hongq. Like these aren't things that are impossible for this team. Hope just needs to be as good as Gala. He just needs to not lose them the game. They have players that can win them the game. For AL, it really just comes down to actually roaming. When Kyle and Tarzan play together, they win almost all their games.
My 90-50-10 for this playoffs is 90 BLG win the whole tournament. 50 is that BLG will lose less than 3 games all tournament long. and my 10 is Top Esports are going to MSI.
I mean,
I want to believe in Tien, man. I want to believe that he's going back. Like,
Yeah.
it would be too good.
I will say about the top esports JDG argument, I think that individually Tien is a better player than Junja, but I think as a confluence, JDG's mid jungle is better. I think that Hongq and Junja work better together. Yeah, that's my take. That's my opinion on the matter.
I think Tien in the final couple weeks of the regular season was not that for me.
Wasn't great, but...
Junja was my first team All-Pro jungler, and Tien was second team. So I would love to see them face off for a chance to go to MSI. That would be really fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's most of playoffs. We're going to be having playoffs start on the 28th. Like, if you just real quick, if you want to just look at your screens for people who are maybe only audio listeners, the 28th. So from today, I mean, today is what, the 26th, if I remember correctly? Yeah, today's the 26th. So 28th, 11 p.m. PDT. If you need to do your own calculations, do it on your own time. I'm not going to do it for you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what this is going to look like, because all double best of 5, similar to our play-ins bracket. And then we're getting a bunch of games, and we're getting to send 2 teams to MSI, which is going to be really, really, really exciting. Gentlemen, we're coming up on an hour and a half of the show, probably a little less than an actual hour and a half, because we were shooting some fun at the very beginning before we started. But I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your day to be on the show. K-Man, where can people follow you? What are you doing this week?
You can follow me on YouTube at Super K-Man Rocks. I post at minimum 5 times per week. Now that playoffs have started, it's going to be closer to the 2 numbers that are beyond 5 that I will not say out loud. It's going to be, we'll just say almost every day over on YouTube at Super K-Man Rocks. Also follow me on Twitter at Super K-Man Rocks. And I'll, of course, be here on LPL English as well for some of these playoff series. But would love to see you in the comments on my YouTube as well. Come say hi.
Yep. Quacks?
Yeah, you can see more of me on the Salt Mine Pod, where I talk about a lot of stuff related to the North American stratosphere as far as like content goes. Also follow me on Twitter at Quackscast, where I upload a bunch of stuff, just really whatever is on my mind when it comes to the league space. A lot of LPL stuff as well. And then also stay tuned to Twitter, because I've been doing like episodes with other North American personalities in the tier 3 space about the open qualifiers that are still going on over there as well. Been having a ton of fun with that. So if you want more of my opinion on tier 3 North American League of Legends content, very niche, but yeah, you can definitely find me talking about that as well. And yeah, that's me.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of an LPL English podcast. Remember to stay tuned on LPL_English over on Twitch. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you know where to find us, LPL English there as well. And if you're staying tapped in on our socials, you'll find our All-Pro bouts will be posted the day before playoffs. So you won't want to miss it. Remember, we had a community vote. You can take part of that in Split 3 when it starts to come around. But thank you again for watching, everybody, and we'll be here next week.